Durojiaye, and he is joining us on Business Express this morning. It's a Tech Friday, and it's the tech edition of the show. All right. Well, let us know what your thoughts are. The WhatsApp number is 0809 444 0981. And you can also tweet at Smooth981. We're streaming live on YouTube as well. So just search for Smooth981 and you can catch the live stream and even post a comment on there. We're talking about tech platforms encroaching on media space. Good morning, Fisayo, and welcome.
Good morning, Zibby. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, everyone listening and watching.
Awesome.
Great time to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, Meta is planning to restrict news access in Canada, and this is after Parliament had passed a bill that basically compels tech platforms to compensate media houses for using their stories on their platforms. Google has been experimenting with the limited news access in Canada on its platform in reaction to the bill. That's the backstory. Fisayo, what's your reaction to this bill, and what is your reaction to the response from Meta and Google as well?
You see, this story, it's we've been discussing it. This is just another offshoot of the same position I've always had. I don't know if you remember many years ago when Meta, everyone was deplatforming people because they're passing information, and they made themselves, they took upon themselves the responsibility of policing what people say on their platform. This is what happens. This is an offshoot of that nonsense that they started. So they brought it on themselves, because when a platform like Meta or a platform like Facebook, I remember saying it back in the days that they have to decide which one they want to be. Do they want to be a platform or a publisher? That's the problem. Do they want to be a platform or a publisher? They want to be a marketplace or a publisher? They took the responsibility of publishing themselves because they put the responsibility of policing the content on their platform on themselves. They started it, regulating speech, telling us that this one is fake news, when apparently it was the real news. Right. So now they're saying that, well,
yes, go ahead.
I mean, on many times now, I mean, they changed their mind. All of the thing they called COVID misinformation is now real information. Now they've changed their mind today. The things they didn't know, they put on themselves in the first place. So they brought this upon themselves. And I think that's my position on this part, right? They should have chosen the path that, okay, we are not responsible for the content that people post on their platform. We just give them a marketplace. I'm not responsible for what they sell in the marketplace. I'm not responsible for what people say in the market. And that's where they are. But if you don't start regulating speech on your platform, this is where you get to. That people then think that if I post a link of a newspaper on your Facebook, then you have to pay. Facebook then has to pay. It doesn't make sense from a regulatory perspective, from a practicality perspective, because again, you are not the publisher of the story. How are you required to pay someone that publishes a story and a third party puts that story on your own platform and you are required to pay? It doesn't make sense. But my point is that they brought it on themselves, right, in the first place. And I think that again, it's one thing that when we see very liberal governments, this kind of nonsense that they do, they don't think about the big picture. They don't see everything through from beginning to the end. They just all they want to do now is to protect newspapers. But of course, we all know that industry is dying, right? So by forcing Facebook and Google to pay newspaper or news publishers for articles that a third party post on their own platform to their own followers, I'm like, Facebook is not the one doing it, right? So again, my argument here is that the regulation doesn't make sense in any way in the first place, right? But I also think that on the flip side, both Facebook, Google brought this upon themselves, and I think they should bear the brunt.
Okay, so just coming back to what you said about them censoring certain things that people have said and terminate for fake news, but shouldn't any organization or platform have some sort of responsibility for for the conduct of the people that it allows to use its platform? I mean, there have been cases of people who have been hounded on social media, maybe by trolls, maybe by bullies. There have been some people that have even committed crimes on social media. Is there any way that these platforms would not be in some way liable for the things that go on around it?
when you commit a crime on the platform, police will come and take you, not me. If police requires, information, I'll give it to them. But I am not the police. We have two different jobs. Again, it's like saying that I created a market, right? I created a marketplace. People come in and people go out, right? It's not putting responsibility of what they say in the market on me. No, I can't police everybody effectively. I can't police everyone effectively. Do you get what I'm saying? So there are different ways to think about this thing, right? If there is a law, I have to uphold the law, not becoming a law to myself, because that's what they did. They created standards for themselves, and that's okay. This is what I'm going to apply. I mean, I remember when Donald Trump was banned, people were excited, like, no, this is. I remember saying then that it was a slippery slope, because I asked, what did Donald Trump again? So, sorry, I had to bring this. Up until today, people are sent to jail for the actions they commit. So it's like someone stealing money and then saying that, it is someone else that incited me to go and do it. It doesn't make sense. Do you get what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. Adults take responsibility for their own actions, not putting the blame on someone that says that someone said I should go. And of course, I said, okay, show me the video when Donald Trump said this, go and attack the Capitol. No one has showed me one. But again, my point is that this job is the job of a platform. Focus on your job responsibility as a platform. Let people say the things they want to say. If anyone says something that's against the law of the country, then you take action. Not that you create laws to yourself and then make yourself a law unto yourself.
Shouldn't any platform any platform, whether it's a virtual platform or a physical platform, shouldn't there be some sort of regulation? Because it would be a free for all.
Based on
regulation
what?
Based on how people perceive certain things.
No. Okay. My point is that
let me ask you a question.
The law of the land is different from you creating laws unto yourselves.
So does it mean that you think that perhaps individuals and organizations can't have the rules that would govern their own spaces? It's like some people have a rule that, oh, sorry, you can't wear shoes when you come into their home, and you have to take your shoes off at the door. Now, if you don't like
that's their home. That's a public space. That's a public space. So the same way, I have the right to block you on my social media platforms. I can block you because I don't want to see what the things you say.
But that's you regulating what you don't want to see, right? Isn't that the same thing as the organization regulating what people don't want to see?
No. But you can't determine what people don't want to see. I want to see other things.
Okay. You know what? We have a lot of comments coming through, Fisayo.
Yeah.
Let's see what the comments are saying. Ladele says, sorry, who is there to regulate what people say on these platforms? Sokwe says, I don't agree with what most of what Fisayo said. There was a lot of misinformation during COVID, especially example, using salt to heal it. A lot of people fell for it. It needs to be stopped. So you can't use that as a yardstick. And Shibike says, Fisayo, freedom without parameters is chaos. There's no such thing as absolute freedom. It destroys societies. There must be things in place to provide limits to how far we go with certain things. These laws and rules exist because only the platform has the real access and power to track what goes on there. Yinka says, though I agree with Fisayo on this stand, but we need to find a balance. Why? Fake news. Take, for instance, the issue of the pay rise for government officials. The real news reads a recommendation. What some people on Twitter turned it into approval, and boom, there was violence everywhere. It was so bad that even a certain guy currently looking for his mandate also ran with twisted news. So we can't totally blank out the mainstream media using social media. Okay.
I mean, so like I said, what forms regulation is the law of the land, not social media. And of course, someone mentioned, a lot of misinformation during COVID. Again, there are government-sponsored misinformation. Things around wearing triple mask, double mask. People have told us that, yes, when you get the vaccine, you don't get transmitted. I mean, all of these are nonsense lies. And people were
You can't say those are lies because they are backed by science and research, Fisayo.
No, because if you get the vaccine, you still transmit it to people.
The vaccine is to protect you from getting it, and if you get it, you don't get the severity of the illness is not as bad as it would be.
We agree on that. Point, right? But what they told us was that when you get the vaccine, I mean, that's why they were compelling it on people. When you get the vaccine, it stops that you are not able to transmit it to another person. That's why they are compelling
it just
vaccines.
reduces the symptoms of that you
That
might
was what they
have,
told
and
us
that makes it
later.
harder for you to
That's what they
transmit.
told us later. What they told us at
No,
the
I think that
beginning.
has always been the position, hasn't it?
Zibby, I can show you. I can send you videos. I can send you videos. Multiple videos.
You're so right wing.
No, I'm not right wing. This is what they told us.
I can see your perspective, though.
So when it comes to misinformation, the government sponsored a lot of that during that period, right? And of course, so it is the responsibility it is my responsibility to filter news, not the responsibility of the people, not the platform, to say that this one is probably correct, this one is not correct, right? I mean, because they don't know as well, at least at those times. But now, okay, so why is Facebook not allowing those things to come on their platform today? Because they said that they can come on their platform now, but they stopped them then, right? So what is the difference between now and then?
Because the pandemic has officially been declared over? Just saying.
Really? And I also remember there was a time that the lab leak theory was seen as misinformation, only for us to discover today that it was actually leaked from China, from a lab in Wuhan. You see, that we know today.
But China has actually not officially said, look, this is true. So
no, but the US has said it is.
At this point. Because the US is saying it's real, though, is it?
No. It's gain of function research. Again, we've gone through. I don't want to go through this emotional roller coaster with you. Okay. But the point is that we've gone through this, and it is more likely that it is in fact indeed the China virus. Like Donald Trump called it back.
You just all right.
But
okay, let's move on. Yes,
it's what it is. By the way, when I said the China virus, for instance, again, there are different things we've seen. What's it called? There have been diseases named over countries, right? So something flu, that is. Yeah. So it's not in any way, wrong to say that. I just wanted to make that point.
Oh, sure. All right. So I like that this conversation is generating a lot of interest. A lot of messages are coming through, and we'll come to your messages in a little bit. I think we can stress this for about a couple of minutes more. So now, is compensation enough for the media organizations, though? I mean, the argument is that tech platforms are actually gaining more in terms of the data harvesting that they're doing of, readers and stuff.
I mean, that's why the tech platforms have decided to stop it, right? They're saying that, okay, well, if you want us to pay for something that someone else, a third party, posts on our platform, we're not going to do that, right? We're not going to pay anyone for a link that I took to Facebook, not that Facebook published themselves. So it doesn't make, again, from a logic perspective, it still doesn't make sense. So if any media house think that, I'll just start a media newspaper, a media company, publish a news, copy the link, and paste on Facebook and ask Facebook to give me money. What kind of nonsense is that? It doesn't make any sense.
That does sound ridiculous, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what people are going to do, because I can't do that. I just tell my friends, like, okay, just be posting this link. Go and copy from my page and be posting on your Facebook, and I'll get money from Facebook. It doesn't make sense.
And this is just specifically for Canada at this point, based on this
Canada,
rule.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
This Canada specifically, right? And of course, I can see that even in California, they're going through with something like that as well. It's when you're too liberal, this is what happens to you. Just create nonsense laws and then, of course, export that to everywhere in the world. It doesn't make any sense from any perspective if you think about it critically.
All right. So has the internet killed the news business?
To a large extent, it has, because the newspaper business is declining, as it were, right? So people are most times on their phone today. They just want to have their phones in front of them, right? But so it means that they have to consume their news digitally as well. Right, they consume their news on Twitter. They consume their news on their social media platforms. In fact, these traditional newspapers already have social media platforms that they share and publish news on. Right, so I'm not going to pay you for that. You are the one that is using my platform to spread your news to the people on my platform. So that's what it is. So I guess that's why they're not saying things around. Subscription for news. People paying, in fact, got a point. Guardian will be begging you to subscribe. Please now give us just $2 a month. good news takes cost money now. Please now show us love. We've seen that a lot. From I don't mean Ghana, Nigeria, right?
Yes.
So we've seen that a lot. So consuming news has changed from buying newspaper daily to saying that I'm seeing this news real time on my social media platforms or on the websites of these people. And I think that internet has done that for us. Yeah.
All right, let's look at a few messages just before we head out. Andrew says, if Meta had not regulated posts on the Facebook platform, regulators will still hold them accountable. Lenin says, for me, Fisayo is largely right. Meta and Co are tech platforms, not journalists. There's a clear difference. The professionalism of journalism cannot be expected from them. They did overreach in banning Trump. That's my 2 cents. And let's see. Yinka says, Fisayo, I just believe the laws need to be firm on news distribution on any medium. In the case of Nigeria, all we need is just one person in Lagos to be sent to Kirikiri and one in Abuja sent to Kuje over fake news. Everyone will be responsible. Please, Zibby, stretch till 7 a.m. Unfortunately, we can't. Flight's about to start in my car over this issue. Oh, wow. This is what we like, healthy debate. And Yinka says, Zibby, Canada is our 37th state. If you know, you know. All right. And Ladele says, let's see, Fisayo feels Canada is being too liberal and yet wants tech platforms to be overly liberal. Okay. Well, Fisayo,
Really?
I didn't really get that bit, Ladele, but okay. Fisayo, I wish we need to have this conversation again.
We need to have the conversation again. Spend a bit more time, address all the issues and concerns, because I think that
true.
This needs to be had, But it's a social media platform, not a radio station, not a TV station. You are responsible for what you say on radio stations, but you are not responsible for what third-party people say on a platform. Nah, you're not.
Sometimes the regulators have a different opinion on that, actually. But we're out of time. Fisayo, we need to have this conversation maybe next Friday.
Maybe next Friday we'll do it again.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Fisayo, and have a brilliant day ahead.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Do stay with us. There is a lot more to come on the